It's Wednesday, August 21st, 2019, and this is the Pro and the Con Show. Welcome to the show. Michael James Ott, I'm your host. Again, 10 minutes, 15 minutes every day, trying to get us to be better citizens, to be open to listening, at least listening, to opposing views, so we can take in, really the whole truth, the pro and the con, the good and the bad, the for and against. Okay? So for today's show, a lot of times I'll go through these different websites and look at the information they're presenting and how they're kind of putting a spin on that. But today I just want to talk about healthcare. And the main thing I want to do is talk about, I had gone to a rally for Elizabeth Warren, and she came out. She's a strong proponent of Medicare for all, basically. So so-called single payer system. And so there's a lot of argument back and forth about that, and a whole lot of that argument comes from all of us are very much ignorant of all the of the entire situation around healthcare, and ignorance then breeds mistrust. And then you get this, what feels good to me, this is what I'm going to argue for. So, to all the politicians out there, you bring forth these proposals and plans, and Elizabeth Warren has a bunch of them, but very often you don't bring forth enough background to get people to understand why it is that you're proposing what you are. So how about bringing all of us along, and really for these major issues like healthcare, like abortion, like racism and bigotry and voter election reform and we should have, on a national level, okay, this is going to be, healthcare month, and we're going to have these open forums where, for example, there's going to be, people talking about, because one of the major sources of our healthcare costs is the fact that we're not healthy, and a lot of that comes from we're making bad choices as far as, whether or not we exercise. We're making bad choices with the food that we eat. Then there's, what are the costs? So we're purposefully, I don't know if it's purposeful. We're I don't know what the right term is. But we're doing this to ourselves. This, we're being unhealthy, and therefore putting a strain and a bunch of cost onto the healthcare system. But then, doctors, how much do they make? Why do they make it? Why don't they make more? Why don't they make less? The insurance companies, why do they exist? What benefits do they provide? Why do they make money? Why do they not make more money? Why do they not make less? Hospitals and clinics, same questions. Equipment manufacturers, same questions. Pharmaceutical companies, same questions. These healthcare and insurance brokers, same questions. And litigation, okay? What part of all this cost and associated healthcare and stuff like that, what part of it is associated with litigation in our systems? And if you sit there and you have subject matter experts, and they come in and they talk about, their area of expertise, and okay, so maybe there's 2 or 3 major views on this particular aspect, so you get in those parties and they give, a couple hour, 3-hour presentation at most, with all the details they possibly want to give, and we assimilate all that, we summarize it, okay? And okay, so that's now the picture, is being revealed. We're painting the picture. Here's the picture. It's being revealed. Over the course of some days, we reveal the picture. This is what's going on. Now, then the question is, well, what do we do about it? Once we have the picture, and people say, well, you're not going to get the picture. You're not going to get the picture. Well, to say that, I say that's baloney. Okay, we will get the picture. It may not be a perfect picture. I liken it to those of you that have a family, or maybe you were brought up in a family, a sizable family, or I don't know, some organization, maybe preschool or school or whatever, where a bunch of kids have been left in a room alone, and chaos breaks out and all kinds of stuff is going on, and then an adult or an authority figure, a teacher, a parent, or whatever, walks into the room and, hey, what's going on here? And then what you find is, in that room full of people, that what's going to be mostly true about all of them is they're not going to want to get into trouble. And so whatever stories they tell, they're going to kind of talk about everyone else fairly truthfully and probably lie a little bit about themselves. And so if you want the truth about what went on over the last couple hours in that room, you pull all those people out separately, and you talk to them and you ask them what happened. You take careful notes. This is what happened, blah, 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 blah. And ultimately what happens is you piece together a truth that's, 85% true, 90% true. But that's as good as you're going to get. And this is the real world. But that's fine. You can still act upon that. You can say, okay, I've had multiple people that said that Tommy is the guy who broke the pencil sharpener. So, Tommy, based on eyewitness accounts, even though you vehemently deny that you broke the pencil sharpener, you broke the pencil sharpener. Okay? And on and on and on. So that's the analogy, right? So this is the same thing with healthcare. We would have these different experts in the field and give us all their information. And yes, there's going to be bias and stuff like that, but we can filter that out by getting the whole truth, the pro and the con, the good and the bad, the for and against. And so then what will happen is after you've done that, then we decide, okay, these are things that people don't like. And you just have, people just do polling or whatever, and these are the top 5 things I don't like, and you could force rank them. So I give 5 points to this. I really don't like this thing about healthcare that's been revealed, right? Or the healthcare cost. And then you start spending some days brainstorming what the healthcare system should really look like, and talking about, well, what is a fair compensation for doctors? What is fair compensation for pharmaceutical drugs and stuff like that? Because the difficulty here is that a lot of this ends up being kind of pseudo monopolies. It's very hard to have real competition. And the other aspect of healthcare is we value human life so highly that effectively people will pay anything to regain health or be healthy. And that puts in this artificiality that capitalism struggles with, okay? Because on the capitalist side, our definition of success, again, which is a wrong definition, but our current definition of success is the acquisition of wealth, influence, and power. So the more that they can acquire wealth, well, that's what they drive to do. And in fact, that's this industry and much of our society, the vast majority of our society, we've long since abandoned doing things for altruistic reasons. It's just everything is driven by money now. So doctors used to do a lot of what they did, not for money. And that there are still doctors that they work in third world countries and they don't make money. They just do it for the people. But the vast majority of doctors today are trying to get the biggest house they can get and the fanciest cars and the biggest bank accounts, because that's how you define success. So, so all these factors I've been talking about in the healthcare system, there's three examples that are right upon us. There's penicillin, which has skyrocketed in cost, and not for valid reasons other than that's where capitalism is taking us, and we've got to sit here as a society and say, well, we're not going to tolerate that, or decide that we will. I mean, that's fine. Then there's like kidney dialysis. So there's a huge industry now around kidney dialysis, and it's it's a huge, I don't know, it's billions and billions and billions of dollars, and you would have never even guessed that this was a possibility. But based on the constraints that we put into the system, if you will, that is a reality. And then EpiPens. This is the special pens. If you have a very strong allergy, you can, to carry one of these emergency pens, and this epinephrine drug can rapidly overcome some of your allergy symptoms and prevent you from having a serious issue, hopefully. And now these EpiPens, instead of being $10 a piece or $20 a piece, they're hundreds of dollars a piece, because this healthcare system, fully capitalized, is saying, yeah, we're going to extract every penny that we can, because the definition of success. So there you go. Okay. So again, Elizabeth Warren proposes Medicaid for all, or Medicare for all, and there's other various proposals. All of it should be put on the shelf, and we should have these national open meetings to talk about this stuff and fully vet all of the information, the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, the for and against. Okay? If we did all that, then we'd come up with plans and strategies and policies that all of us, well, the vast majority of us anyway, could get behind. Okay? And we'd back away from all this warfare over healthcare. All right, Michael James Ott for Wednesday, August 21st, 2019. This has been the Pro and Con Show. See you again soon. Bye for now.